Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back. We're discussing some steps to help us achieve that self-purification that we so are much in need of, especially in this month of Ramadan. We've discussed the Quran, we've discussed dhikr, remembering Allah, and we've also discussed the concept of dua, of supplicating. And now we're going to talk about the all-important one that we're already doing, whether it's in Ramadan, outside of Ramadan. We're doing it multiple times a day, regardless, 5 times a day at the very minimum, which is the Salah, which is the daily prayer. But now we're not just going to be talking about Salah, meaning the obligatory prayers, the ones that we're expected to do, but even beyond that, because in the month of Ramadan, as we know, there are more prayers that we can make, more salawat that we can engage in. Allah tells us in the Quran, حَافِظُوا عَلَى الصَّلَوَاتِ. He says, make sure you guard and preserve your prayers, right? Don't be lazy, don't be heedless. You know, sometimes it's easy. You're feeling tired in the day. You say, I'll delay the prayer, or I'll miss it. Maybe I'll make it up tomorrow, right? No, guard the prayers and be, on point with your prayers. That's something that we should not compromise on. But in particular, we want to understand the connection, because a lot of times the complaint is, and I'm sure you feel the same way, that, I'm praying, I pray 5 times a day, right? Sometimes I'm going to the mosque, sometimes I'm at home, but, I just don't feel that connection. I just, I pray, but I feel like it's just motions. I feel like it's just movements. I feel like it's just a ritual, like any other ritual, and I don't feel a connection. Now, to truly feel that connection, you have to go back to the origin of Salah, when it comes to the story behind it. And though we can't go into detail, we believe that our Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he traveled to the heavens, and Allah himself gave him the gift of Salah, the 5 daily prayers. And this is what is known as the Mi'raj, the ascension to the heavens, or the Prophet ascended to the heavens, and he had that personal meeting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself. And one of the gifts was the prayer, right? Pray. And 5 times a day. And this is a way of connecting with me. And there's great reward in this, right? Now, think about that, right? And then think about the statement of many scholars where they say, as-salatu mi'rajul mu'min. They say that Salah itself is the ascension of the believer, right? Just like the Prophet, we believe, ascended to the heavens. That Salah, that prayer every time should be a means of ascension, because the fact that, Allah could have revealed the prayer, just like any other ruling, he could have revealed it through Angel Jibreel alayhi salam. But no, on this occasion, he said, no, you're going to come up to me, right? You're going to come up to the heavens to personally receive this. And this shows the status of the prayer, that it's something which is the closest connection you could really have with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you think about how the Prophet he taught us that when a servant is in the state of sujood, what is sujood? It's the prostration, right? Where your head is on the ground, okay, and you're in pretty much the lowest part. You've lowered yourself, you've humbled yourself completely before God, right? We've submitted ourselves. And this shows that we're not proud, we're not arrogant, we're happy to submit to a greater being, okay? When you're in that position of sujood, when you're in that posture of sujood, of prostration, he says that's the closest you can be to God. That's meaning that, not physically, but spiritually, that's the closest you can be to God. Any prayer that you make, that is heard, right? That is not rejected. So, think about Salah in that manner, that this is a way of connecting to Allah. This is the ascension. This is like as if I'm, connecting with Him. The veils and the curtains have been removed, and this is the closest that I can be to Him. Think of Salah in this way, right? And then, of course, there's, think about other Salahs that you can pray. So in Ramadan, for example, we have the Taraweeh prayer, we have the Qiyam prayer, we have the night prayer. So after Isha, try and engage in that and try and be part of the Taraweeh prayers. And beyond that as well, in the morning, you have something known as the Duha prayer, right? This is a prayer that you pray after sunrise, sometime after sunrise, right? You can pray it up until even midday, right, before the Dhuhr prayer, right? And the Duha prayer, again, is an additional prayer where you get great reward. It's known as Salatul Awwabin, the Salah, the prayer of those who are very close to God and repent often and return back to God frequently. So there are many other prayers outside of the 5 daily prayers, but of course, it goes without saying that we need to focus on the 5 daily prayers first. Make sure we're consistent with those before we think about all of the additional prayers and the voluntary prayers that also are there. So, one thing we should really focus on And this is, why I chose 4 for this mini series, because, we don't want to bombard and overwhelm anyone, right? Like, you have to focus on this and this and this and this ruling, and you need to observe this and not do this, right? You want to start with what's most important, what's basic, but at the same time, what will really help you and what will really help develop yourselves spiritually. Hence why we chose what? We chose the Quran, right? We chose dhikr of Allah, remembering Allah, generally speaking. We chose dua, supplicating. And now we discuss salah, right? Because truly these things, if we can focus on and if we can really be consistent with those, then all of the other things will be much easier, right? And we will feel, right, the desire to do more, right? Because that's what happens. The more good you do, the more you want to increase in that good, because it feels good, right? It's like you give charity. Okay, and when you give that charity, you see someone on the street, they ask for money, and you give them some money, and you see what it means to them. You want to do it again, right? And likewise, you pray, and you feel that connection in the prayer. You want to pray again, and that's where we want to get to. Our Prophet ﷺ, he used to often say that جُعِلَتْ قُرَّةَ عَيْنِي فِي الصَّلَاةِ. Or كما قال, he used to say that the delight and the comfort of my eyes is in the salah. I feel at ease when I'm praying, and that's the level that we should get to. So hopefully these practical tips have helped with the discussion on self-purification. And of course, we all hope, we all need to purify ourselves. And I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us the tawfiq and the ability, the energy, the motivation to keep going and keep pushing, especially with this month of Ramadan coming up, and to help bring in all of these aspects that we spoke about, whether it's dua or prayer. We want to bring it into our lives, inshallah. So we'll end there. Thank you so much. And remember, this Ramadan, giving is believing.